you had your wrestling debut, right?
Yes, I did last Friday. I've adapted, for those who don't know, the character Strife from the Game Crypt has basically given. Well, he hasn't given up the stage, but he's embraced the ring.
So you're telling me that the character Strife from the Game Crypt videos
is kind of what I've adapted into my wrestling gimmick. So yeah, a lot of people know I've been training in a backyard for like 2 years, but this was like the first time like a homie, like shouts out to my friend Keith. He put me on his high school show. It was like a welcome back for the ASB. I never got cool shit like this at my high school, like I should say. It was dope.
Because I was a part of this too, and I've known Keith for a while. I met him when I used to do commentary with Eric for Super Awesome Showdown, which is a wrestling promotion that was here in San Diego a few years ago. They're not operating currently. Keith wrestled for Super Awesome Showdown, but because we haven't been running shows for like 4 or 5 years, everybody at school like always heard like, oh, did you know our teacher was a wrestler? But they never got to see him. So I don't know if he's gonna be wrestling for very much longer.
Well, he at the end of that show retired. He took his boots off in the ring. But he's got other characters.
Oh, that's what that means?
He's got other...
take your boots off in the ring, you retired?
Yeah.
Basically, you're leaving it all in the ring. But I think he wanted to have one final show because the kids never saw him and his own daughter's never seen him wrestle.
So he's an actual teacher at the school.
He's an actual teacher at the school. So he put together this indie show, but it started with a Rumble, Battle Royale that Garrett was in.
Well, the Battle Royale got changed because everything gets changed last minute to a Royal Rumble.
They're the same thing. Battle Royale.
But we all got an entrant. Battle Royale, I thought everyone starts at the same time.
Well,
12 guys all at once, go.
I guess technically the Royal Rumble is every 30 seconds, but it's still like many people in the ring and you're disqualified by throwing them out of the ring.
Essentially the same thing. But yeah, we all got released a minute intervals.
Oh, I see.
And we got, which I didn't, know until the day before. It's like, oh shit, I get it. Because it wasn't going to be, I didn't get an entrance song or anything before. Then a day before, it's like, oh shit, I do get an entrance. It's going to be short, but I got to come up with a song real quick.
How was it being in the locker room because this is your
this is my
debut technically. Yeah. You've done other shows.
Yeah, I've like what they call
valeted,
or like been the manager role kind of thing. But I've done that about 3 times. So I've been in some locker rooms, but nothing like this where it's like, okay, like I'm getting ready for a match.
You have like your outfit you're putting on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Before I saw you like wearing like not the Strife costume.
Well, yeah, I was helping out other wrestlers, so I was in their like henchman gimmicks, right?
Right.
Wearing different stuff. But this is the first time that I've worn the Strife ring gear that I sewed like 6 months ago. Just been waiting for this thing. But it's dope. I got a big ass horseogram on the knee. I got the green. It's all green and black like the character.
Did you feel comfortable there? Working with all the guys.
I felt super comfortable. There was like some bigger names on that card too, like Jordan Cruz and CJ Tino.
That's what I was gonna say. So
I was like honored to be having
Jordan Cruz has done some matches for AEW. Yeah. He's worked as like the security guards who get beat up for WWE.
Wow.
CJ Tino trained with the LA Dojo for New Japan. I think he was like a young lion over there. He knew Alex Coughlin, who Johnny and I had interviewed for Mega Strange, and is a ex Mega64 fan.
No longer.
Is no longer. How did that happen?
Wow.
And El Fatal is a luchador who Keith wouldn't tell me what promotion he was going to, but kind of insinuated he was going to a bigger Mexican promotion. So
that's cool.
Maybe like AAA or CMLL. I'm not sure, but he was like, oh, we're really lucky to have El Fatal because pretty soon we would not be able to get him.
Yeah.
And he put on a great match too.
Yes. I was very I was like a sponge in the locker room because I was taking advice from so many different, like having conversations about like, okay, what are we going to do in this match, and talking to the people I was in the match with, and then like getting advice on certain things, and even like talking about, like our clothes, like ring gear questions and shit like that. And then just how comfortable I felt being there with one of my trainers, Vic Valentine. You know him from our Dragon Ball Z in 5-minute videos.
Yeah, he's Mr. Satan.
He is. So being there with him, and actually in that Rumble with him, but then also having Derrick there and just knowing like, oh, I've known Keith for 10 years. I know Derrick here. My buddy Brandon, who's Reverend Bishop Thunderbird, was wrestling in a different match. I just had like a friend group there. So I didn't feel like, I don't know anyone here.
I was happy to have you and Victor there too.
Okay, cool.
Because I had to go into the locker room and introduce myself, and people thought I was a wrestler, and
Oh.
I had to shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
And I almost been like, well, I'm not wrestling tonight, but I'm calling your matches. So,
Yeah.
you know, if there's anything you want me to say in the matches, let me know.
So was it a full auditorium of kids, like high school kids watching this?
I think we were really privileged
There
to
were
be
300
in this space.
people there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a
It was-
beautiful gym.
Yeah, it was a nice gym. It was a really nice production because you say like high school show, independent show. This was one of the best indie shows I've ever been to.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
wow.
And the fact that we got to be a part of it was really cool.
Yeah.
They had this inflatable, because the school mascot is the Eagles. They had this inflatable eagle tunnel that the students, like the
Oh.
sports
Like a
team,
football
runs through.
player?
So that was the
Bro.
entrance ramp for the wrestlers.
That's,
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
sick.
They would play music and have a lighting. Like they basically brought every elective from the school to work the show. So the audio visual department, the AV
Oh.
department was
Wow.
working,
How cool for them, right?
playing
Yeah.
videos, playing music, playing
Announcing.
lighting effects. They had the students were recording the matches and doing photography. The photography class was
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh.
So everybody was involved in some way.
That's so,
That's so cool.
The principal
awesome.
came out and got involved on some
That would-
matches.
and the students, like, you know, I didn't exactly attend extracurricular activities, but if I would have, I probably would have been clowning on my teachers and the
Yeah.
principal and shit. These kids were so into it.
Yeah.
When the final match happened and the principal came out and helped Orion Odyssey, it was like I saw ASB staff telling students calm down.
'Cause
Yeah.
they're
Oh my
so-
God.
They were jumping up and shaking the railing and,
Yeah.
and going crazy.
So
it
what
was so
I-
cool.
What another wrestler said in the Facebook chat afterwards, and this was really interesting, and I agree, this was true. He said, Keith, and just to reiterate, Keith is a teacher at this school.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, an older teacher. I don't think people really expected him to be like a legit wrestler.
Okay.
So he comes out as Orion Odyssey. He's doing hip tosses. He's throwing guys out of the ring. He's diving out of the ring. He's doing like suplexes off the top rope. It's submissions. It's near falls. I think that they were like, holy shit. Like,
He's a real wrestler.
he's a real wrestler. And when I was calling it, I was kind of putting over this story of like, hey, I know you guys like Orion Odyssey, but I don't know if he can keep up with Jordan Cruz. Jordan Cruz is tip-top condition. He's a seasoned veteran. I just think he's more experienced and more physically in peak condition than Orion Odyssey. So when the finish came, and I guess I'll say here that Orion Odyssey pulled out a victory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the auditorium went insane. To say they went insane is an understatement. It was the biggest
Oh.
pop I've ever actually seen
At an
Wow.
indie show.
at an
Holy
indie
shit.
show
Wow.
ever. And a wrestler commented afterwards and he said, Keith, that felt like what I had always heard of in the 70s with regional wrestlers when people thought wrestling was real.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And you had a regional wrestler to Memphis, or you had a regional wrestler to New York that only that community knew of, and they loved that guy and they would die for that guy. Or like in Texas, they talk about, you know, oh, back in the day in Texas, the Von Erichs were more over than you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's how over Keith
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that
Wow.
night. It was like crazy.
That's awesome.
That is so much fun. And
was
also,
cool.
what a cool thing for him. If that really, I mean, what
Oh
a
my
way to go
God,
out, right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a cool way to be
I
done.
mean, I think it's like maybe
Yo.
he wants to keep wrestling after getting that.
Well, yeah, he's got other gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I was crossing my fingers because here's the politicking. Just to real quickly break it down, the indie shows that are put on in San Diego are typically only run by schools that are here. You don't get
Wrestling schools.
Yeah, you don't get into that show unless you pay tuition to that wrestling school because they've got a line out the door of guys that want to wrestle and they're paying. So of course they put their people. That's just the way it is. So for me to get on this like weird one-off show at a high school thing because a friend hooked me up, that was like my little golden ticket.
Oh, so you got hooked up by being in this.
Oh my God, I owe Keith a lot because
Oh.
even being able to view this early. I mean, yeah, I've been training for 2 years, but it's once a week, so it's not as as intense as maybe it should be if I'm really looking to debut and on the indies, which isn't my goal. But I think my goal is little stuff like this on my friends' shows would be so much fun, and I'm really crossing my fingers because hopefully next year they're gonna want to do another welcome back bash for the high school. I feel like the principal and all the staff and the teachers were so impressed by what Keith could bring to the table that I'm just really hoping like this becomes an annual thing for the school.
So how long did you actually wrestle for?
Oh, I mean, we were in this opening rumble and it was supposed to be 10 to 15 minutes. I think we only got 10. That's the whole thing. But I was the fourth person in. There were only 2 after me. So I was only in it for 4 minutes.
Were you? I know you've we performed live a lot.
Oh yeah.
Were you nervous?
Oh, not at all.
No.
But I will say it was a
nice.
fucking blur. Like I didn't make eye contact with a single person in the audience. I didn't hear a fucking thing. I was focused on like what was supposed to happen, who was supposed to eliminate who, when I was supposed to take this thing, and where I was supposed to be at this time. So it was. If it wasn't for footage and getting to like edit a video of like this, I wouldn't even remember what the fuck happened.
Really?
Nor would I be able to go, oh, I need to fix that mistake. Oh, I need to fix that mistake.
Well, because you're telling me that you hurt you got an injury, right?
Oh, I was so into it that at one point, Vic Valentine's given me a choke in the rope. Real dastardly bullshit thing to do. But you know what you do is you put your hands in front of your throat to protect yourself, and you hold onto the rope with your hands, and they can push on the back of your head lightly.
Yeah.
But I was just so into it. I was forcing my fucking neck.
You were choking yourself.
To make it look good. I was sticking my tongue out. There, you can see in the video where I bruised the shit out of my larynx.
Oh.
My voice is still, this isn't from Comic-Con still. I just
no.
I gave myself a sore throat and I didn't know what happened. After the match, I'm in the locker room and I just thought like, whoa, all that adrenaline just dumped because it's over now. And I must be sick from Comic-Con. And I just didn't know until now. Like, oh, it hurts so bad to swallow. I got home, I took a throat drop, and my whole throat, everything, tongue went numb. It didn't do a fucking thing.
Nothing.
And that's when I realized it's on the outside. It's not on the inside. Like I actually I think like I looked it up online. It's like, yeah, if you strangle someone, that will be, that will cause a sore throat.
hurt.
So essentially,
Ow.
go figure. I had to Google that.
Dude.
But it's not. It wasn't Vic. It wasn't my coach. It was.
Garrett's gonna
it
get
was
arrested because of his searches. All this weird shit. What happens if you strangle someone? McKinley Manor.
I think the Google search was like sore throat from choking, sore throat from
Oh no.
from pressure,
Rope around my neck, sore throat? Question mark.
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Well, I'm so happy that it went well. That's
A huge relief because I feel like there's all this pressure to get this like, oh, I've debuted. People talk to me for 6 months about when are you gonna debut? When are you gonna debut?
be nice to already happened.
But yeah, now and even coming up to it, it was like, oh shit, is this happening? Like at Comic-Con, I was getting that fun, nervous energy.